You're listening to the Marginally Geeky Show, the epically geeky book club.
Greetings and welcome to the Marginally Geeky Show. I'm your host for the evening, Eugene Stevens. Tonight I'm joined by our Canadian friends, Ray and Chris. How are y'all doing?
2 of 3.
Good.
Two of three. That's right. It's been a little while since we've done an episode. How have y'all been?
Crazy.
Good.
It's been crazy. It's been life. Yeah.
When was the last time we did an episode?
I'm trying to remember the last time.
It's been a little while. The last episode was Outland, so it's been a month. So
Yeah.
It's
Anyway.
Yeah. It's US Thanksgiving hit here, so I had that, and everyone's getting ready for Christmas, and Christmas lights have been kicking my butt this year, but it's been a thing. So like you said, it's been life. So tonight's episode, we are talking about Felicia Day's newest book that just came out. It's the second book she's written, Embrace Your Weird. I was not really sure. I mean, her last book was basically her memoirs. And this one, I wasn't exactly sure what I was getting into, but I knew that it was her book, and I was like, oh, I'll enjoy it. So volunteered it, and we ended up reading it. This one is, I don't know if I would necessarily describe it as a self-help book. There is some self-help type things to it. It's more of a motivational book, I would think.
Yeah, I would call it that. I would call it more of a motivational
creative spark.
Yeah, prompt, a good creative prompt.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's what we're talking about tonight. As we usually do, starting off, just kind of real quick impression of the book, Ray.
At first I thought I was going to get annoyed as hell.
It's because the author narrates it.
She narrates it, and
She's
she's very bubbly.
She's very happy.
She is very bubbly.
She seems a lot younger than her age. That being said, I did enjoy it overall. So, yeah.
Good deal. What about you, Chris?
I thought it was really great. The more we're listening to it, the more we're like, yeah, Sean can't listen to this.
No.
He just can't. He'll want to murder whatever device he's listening to. And because she's just so happy and pep. And it's nice to listen to because you feel her enthusiasm as she reads it. But it was nice. I wish this one I didn't listen to it. I wish I would have had the book in front of me because there is a lot of those exercises and stuff. And so, but they do give you the option on Audible to print off the PDFs for free,
which I am so happy with. I've gone back actually and looked at some more of the books that I've got. And it only seems like they've started that within the last year or so. Like Adam Savage's book, Every Tool's a Hammer, has a PDF you can download with it as well. But like some of the older books I have that refers to a PDF, unfortunately, it's not there, and you have to go to the website or whatever.
Yeah. So this one you got, which was really nice. So I'm going to listen to it again because it is very quick. What was it like?
5 or 6 hours. It's a quick one. Yeah.
Under 6 hours. So I'm going to listen to it again, go through it because it's going to take me obviously longer to get through it, doing all the exercises because they take a lot longer. But I really liked it. I think it's a great little motivator to get you over the hump or just to get you started creatively.
So the majority of the book for me was we were listening in the car, and all of a sudden I get these ideas in my head, and I'm like, I need to be listening to this in an office somewhere that I can get to work on doing these things.
Right. And it's funny because she starts off the book saying when you're listening to this, you need to have paper and pencil or a pen or something next to you to jot stuff down. So real quick, I enjoyed the book. I don't think I got as much out of it as I might have if I wasn't already pushing myself to do stuff.
Right.
That said, it helps to, it does help even in this case to kind of keep you going though. Like it's nice to hear that, other people are having the same type of issues occasionally, you get, stuck with something or whatever. I do like some of the ideas that she came up with on like how to just be silly or go completely in a different way to help you, get unstuck and to keep moving. Like at one point she's like, yes, you may burn an hour doing this thing that's not going to necessarily get you where you want to go on this project, but if you burn an hour to get unstuck to keep you going, it's well worth the time. So the book is essentially her going through. She does talk a little bit about her creative process, some of the things that she's done over time, and it does talk about it's mainly focused on keeping people getting their creative juices flowing and keeping you going and motivating you to start. Honestly, like that's always the biggest thing. And I hear multiple people say the same thing. Like just do it. Don't think about it. Just do it. And if it's horrible, that's great. Do it again and make it better, and then do it again and make it better. And one of the things, and she does say at the beginning of the book, keep paper and pencil handy. And then like Chris brought up, there is a PDF. They have a copy. I have a copy that you can download and print out. And she does stop quite often in the book. And she's like, turn to this page and do whatever the prompt is. And it may be writing something. It may be drawing something, maybe filling in and doing, a doodle or something. So, but it's an interesting book. Like I said, I wasn't exactly sure what I was getting into.
Yeah.
But I'm glad I did read it. So, so any thoughts right offhand?
She's really bubbly.
We had to because
I paused it.
We're not familiar with Felicia. I know her through stuff that Will Wheaton has done. Like I know that she's this big sort of thing in the geekdom world and stuff, and that I knew, but I didn't know anything else about her. So I looked her up, and he's like, we thought she was in her 20s, and she's older than, she's like in her 40s.
Yep.
Or she just turned 40 or something like that. And Ray's like, what? I'm like, she's just got one of those voices that sounds like she's 12. So when you get over that, she sounds very young and very bubbly.
But it's her word choices as well that she, certain ways of, hey, and the book is Embrace Your Weird. She's weird, and I love it. It's good on her for doing it. It's just you gotta.
If you're not used to upbeat and bubbly, then it's gonna take.
Did y'all read her other book? Like I know we reviewed it on the show. Did y'all not read it? Okay.
We didn't get in on that one.
Okay. No. She talks about
is that the one you did while we were driving down to Texas?
No.
No, we hadn't started yet.
No, I don't think so. I just don't think we got in on it.
Anyway. Her history basically it was just her and her brother. Her parents are both kind of really interesting. She has a lot of doctors in her family, so she does come from stock of being very intelligent. But she was homeschooled, and it wasn't even super focused. It started off that way, and then it became kind of let's go to like a museum or whatever, and then y'all can read what y'all want for the rest of the day. So it was very unstructured, and her, like she says in the book, she's weird. She didn't get it crushed out of her. She did go to the University of Texas. She's a double major with she's got a degree in mathematics and music, I believe. Like she was playing violin, and she's super talented and stuff. Anyway, she started acting in all these little bit roles and was kind of getting typecast as the quirky secretary or whatever. And she got in with this support group, and she was, that was the other thing is her brother introduced her to World of Warcraft, and she basically was on the road to just doing that all the time and not doing anything else with her life. And then she wrote The Guild, which is, if you've never seen it, unfortunately, the only way you can watch it now is on Netflix.
I've only watched a couple of episodes of it.
Yeah, I freaking love The Guild. I actually just went back and rewatched it. Anyway, so yeah, she did this, and that kind of just torpedoed her, really, brought her career out. And then she got cast in some other things that's really kind of helped her with her geek cred, and then she started a web channel that ended up being bought by Legendary, Geek and Sundry, and that's where, like, she's been good friends with Will Wheaton, but that's when they started Tabletop, and she's actually been on several episodes of Tabletop. So, but she talks about, like, she got throat cancer from stress, and, like, it was super serious. She suffers from depression, so she's constantly having to, kind of keep herself up. But you wouldn't necessarily think that, listening to her talk.
No, you wouldn't know that at all by her voice. She comes
very...
across as very, and I love that she was, because she does mention it in this book that she is homeschooled, and so she never had that feeling of needing to fit in and like being bullied or anything. None of that happened to her. So she was just allowed to flourish and be this like weird person. It was celebrated. And I'm like, oh, what was that like? She's no idea how, and I think she does a little bit, but like that's very rare, and that is amazing to have that kind of your whole life without being told, no, you're not allowed. You can't be this. You have to be this. Like that's amazing. Very, probably one of the people that I'm actually like envious of like that's a pretty freaking awesome way to grow up.
Yeah. If you get a chance, go back and read her other book. You're Never Weird on the Internet. It's actually really good. So, well, anyway, so like I said, it's mainly focused on kind of like getting your creative juices going, and she keeps talking about coming up with ideas and stuff. And was there anything in particular she talked about that kind of hit with you, and you're just like, wow, that, and you kind of start playing along with it? And
so the thing that I liked was it wasn't just about writing.
Right.
There were drawings that she tells you to do as well. There's different there's word associations. There's a bunch of different things other than just writing, and I thought that's what it was going to be when I heard it was like a creative juices thing. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I'm not really a writer, so what am I going to get out of this? And it was actually really interesting because, there was other aspects of it that were interesting, and you can create a story in your head and then do a painting on that story, and so, yeah.
Have either of y'all filled out any of the PDF? Yeah. I was going to, but I never got a chance.
Yeah, we both had plans on doing it.
I want to get like a special workbook and just like doodle the absolute shit right out of it. Like totally all my mom dreams of scrapbooking, just like throw up on this book. Like I watch the scrapbooking things on Instagram. There's little videos, and I'm just like, it's soothing. I could do that. I like all of it, and I want to do that with this, and just totally.
That would be awesome.
All of it, but I definitely want to listen to it again. And
we both were talking about it. We're like, oh, we gotta. Sorry, we just gotta pause this for a second. We've got our dehumidifier turned on. There we go. So,
it's all good.
So we were looking at it, and we've had a busy month. We were doing all these different things. I had to work a bunch, and so I can't really do this at work. But both of us were like, no, we want to sit down and actually work through this and take some time and give it the attention that it deserves, because there's definitely some cool things that could come out of that.
Because we're both creative people, and we've both experienced that blockage of like, well, I suck and this is never going to happen again.
Oh yeah, I remember one of the paintings I did eventually sell. I remember struggling so hard with it because I just every angle, just the paint wasn't working the way. So a little one took me like 8 hours to actually do it. And then a bigger one I've done before took me 2 hours because everything just worked properly and everything was just going right. So, and that's why art, is so hard to price and do those things because, sometimes it's flowing, sometimes it works. It does not. So
hate it.
And you hate every little bit of it. So,
yeah. I'm just kind of flipping through the pages here. One of the pages on here is there's like a board, and it says scaffolding below, and it says in each board in the scaffolding below, write the names of friends or acquaintances who could reach out to support you in your creative journey. And
what page are you on?
I'm on page 30. And it's talking about your creative journey, and that's one of the other things is she does stress things like making list, which I love list. We've talked about this before. She's like, make a list and then break it down into steps. And if those seem too hard, break those into steps and then break those into steps. And it doesn't matter if it's 1,000 steps, at least, you now have this plan on how to do whatever it is you want to do. I've actually found I've got a different app. I use two different to-do apps. I know that probably sounds funny. I've got the normal reminders app on my iOS that I use for day-to-day stuff, and then I found an app called To-Do List, and I'm specifically using it. It's just for cosplay stuff. Oh, cool. And it allows me to put like, here's the project. So like my modified spirit ghost trap, I've got it on there. And then I just start breaking it down into step by step by step. Well, what do I need to get done? I need to do this and I need to do that. And I'm not using it as much as I should, but I do find it's really nice to go in there and like really start planning it out. I've actually thought about, I went back and reread Adam Savage's book, and he talks about this really great way of making lists. And we talked about this on the last episode of the Epically Geeky Show. We were talking about things that we do that there's probably a more technically advanced way to do it, but we kind of prefer the old-fashioned way. And I'm almost considering getting a notebook with a grid on it so that I can make little check box, because I love this idea that he presents on how to do this to-do list. But doing something like that for something creative you want to do is just like, is great. I love it. And I love the fact that, she does spend quite a bit of time talking about it. But she also talks about these other things on there. So like this particular page is talking about, name friends that can help you with this journey. Yeah. And I think that's a lot. I think that's something that a lot of creative people, myself included, go through. And a lot of it's like, well, I have to do all this. And it's like, no, you don't. Like, you really should be reaching out to other people.
Yeah, I remember when I first started writing and I got into a writer's group on Yahoo, and it was amazing because we all had the same shorthand when we talked. It was all the same terminology, and you didn't have to explain it to somebody, and you didn't have to explain the feelings you were having or the trouble that you were having. And if you wanted to bounce ideas off somebody, you could, and they knew the questions to ask back. And it was really great. It wound up being a little bit detrimental in that I took everything that these people said literally, and I was way too hard and way too stringent on myself. But it was nice at the beginning to be introduced into this world of like-minded people, and if you're like, okay, I have this idea, what do you think? I send it off, and they could like bounce ideas off of them. And
I really miss creating stories with Chris. It was something that I've been kind of poking her at a couple of times, where it's like,
I would ask him all the time. I would get him to read chapters.
We would be reading these stories together in this whole universe, essentially, right? That we're talking about different things and how cool it would be, and then kind of like doing that.
Yeah. Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, that's where, because I would bounce ideas off of him. I would send my sister-in-law chapters. I would send basically anybody I thought who would read it. I'd send them stuff and be like, what do you think?
So, and I know if you went to the old site, the String Cutter series, because that was one of the ones that you put up.
Yeah.
Man, have we got some ideas for that thing floating around somewhere. There's a lot of ideas that we put in there, but and they haven't come out yet. And maybe they will, and maybe they won't.
Maybe they won't.
Gotcha.
That being said, some of the things that we did come up for those, I've been toying with the idea of doing a comic book, but again, that's just I didn't have the confidence in doing that. But maybe the confidence will come after doing this start, right? It's pretty weird, and maybe something will come out of that. So,
hopefully so, or not. That was one of the other things that she talked about, was the fact that, make a list of some of these things that you're wanting to do, and like pick one of them and just like say, no, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
And that's something that I think I really need to do. Is I've got all of these plans that I keep thinking about doing, and my to-do list keeps getting longer and longer and longer. And I think maybe I should pick one or two of them and be like, let's be honest with yourself. You're probably not going to get to that.
Yeah.
And dump it. So.
And that's okay. It's a lot of her. You can tell that she's been to a lot of therapy, but she's also learned and taken a lot of therapy, because there's people kind of two camps of people when it comes to therapy. People who think it's a load of bullshit and it's all just crap and they're not listening and they're whatever, I can do this on my own. And other people who need it and really embrace it and want to work on themselves to make themselves better because they don't like the way they feel in certain situations and know it can be better. She's one of those people who are like, okay, I've got a little default in my brain.
I need to learn.
I need to learn how to cope with it. And when it goes off, what do I do? And she really takes that advice and stuff that she's been given to heart, and she's used it. And you can tell that she's benefited a lot and wants to share what she's learned. She's not an expert, and she says that.
Yes.
Just what she learned and through her experiences over the last however many years she's doing this. What's worked for her, and she thinks it could work for you too.
Yeah.
But I'm a big proponent of therapy, so I like that that she is too.
Yep.
Maybe that's why I like her.
And page 19 has a roided out unicorn on it, so there's that. Yes, it's very. You're right. She does talk about the therapy that she's gone through and what she's taken away from it. And you can tell she genuinely wants to help other people.
Yeah.
But like you said, it's she's trying to share some of the things that she's picked up, especially with her creative stuff, and trying to make sure she gets other people to think the same thing. That she tells this story about meeting people at different conventions and stuff, and just like some of them are like, well, I can't do this, or I'm not that good, and she just like, no. You have someone has to be a champion for you, and it really needs to be you. But if it's not, you need to find someone.
Yeah.
So, I'm trying to think if there's any other really standout things in it. Like I said, I enjoyed the book. I think if I was in a creative slump, I would have really enjoyed the book. Yeah. Like it would have been like, okay, yes, I need to sit down and do some of this stuff and really do the homework on this to help me kind of get through this. I have the opposite problem is I need more time. Like that's what I need. I've got the motivation. I've got
juice,
kind of the energy, but I really need the time. That's my problem.
The time is the hardest part. And because especially like for me, for painting, right? Mm-hmm. I got to set it up and then our place is small enough that to set it up means I'm setting up a living room or a kitchen area, and it means I'm taking that over. Mm-hmm. And then, okay, so I set it all up and I'm doing it. Well, now we got to do life stuff, and I can't. I got to put it all away. And so I got to put it all away, and I got to clean up the brushes properly, or they get ruined, or and then so. Yeah,
it helps the creative process a little bit.
Really, because now I have to think about that. Okay, I have these paintings I want to do, and I want to do this painting. Do I really want to take the time to do that? Because in 2 hours we got to do this, or in I've only got 5 hours, and that seems like a lot, but 5 hours.
Not by the time you set up, that's probably about a half an hour at least right there, and then breakdowns at least a half an hour. So 5 hours just automatically became 4 hours.
Yeah, and that's with no distractions.
Exactly.
So it's I as much as I love living in this small space and that we've really done it, we've outgrown it in the way. So we're gonna be, when we look for a new place, we're gonna be looking for an outlet for me to go and do something.
Yes.
Cool.
Which would be nice.
Like a little space for you.
Yeah.
But I don't like calling it a man cave because that seems weird.
It's gonna be a studio.
There you go. That's a good term for it.
The man cave she shed thing.
No, it'll be a studio.
Yeah.
Well, like I think one of the problems I know I run into creatively is pressuring myself on time management. And what I mean by that is, so like I have been working on this project, and I've been doing a redo of a Spirit of Halloween Ghost Trap, and I've got it almost done. And according to the timeline I originally had set out in my head, I should have had all of this done before Thanksgiving. That didn't happen. And then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get it done over Thanksgiving. Well, I had sales, and I had the actual holiday, and I had all this other stuff. And now it's almost a week after Thanksgiving, and I still don't see this getting done. Like,
Yeah.
it's, and I keep trying to tell myself there's no specific time that I have to get it done.
Yeah.
But I'm also like, no, I need to get this done so I can start working on my proton pack, because there's stuff I need to fix on it. Because then once I do that, that unlocks where I can start working on the documentation to actually put that information out there. And it's like, I want to start working on this documentation so I can get it out there, because I've got people asking for my files already. And I'm just like, I've got just a few more things I got to take care of.
Mhm.
As soon as I can, I'll get them out there.
Yeah.
But I've got this project, and then I've got that, and then it's just, and then there's other stuff that's come up. There's other cosplays that I've talked about doing, and I'm really kind of split. I'm trying to make a hard decision on what it is I'm going to work on next. And I've got about 3 different avenues I can go down, and to really do them, 2 of them in particular is a deep rabbit hole of knowledge that I don't know yet. It's stuff that I've watched on YouTube, I've absorbed, but I've never actually done it. So it's like, okay, it's still going to be a learning experience. And so they're going to be big projects, and I've got to commit to one of them. And I'm usually not that guy. I'm the guy that when presented with multiple choices, I feel best once I've made that decision.
Mhm.
And so I usually try to narrow it down to that decision. But the problem is I don't know which way I'm going to go.
Yeah.
And once again, it's a time thing. It's like, well, if I had more time, I could do at least 2 of them. But
Yeah.
You sound like Cheaty.
Yeah.
When you get a stomachache, are you okay?
do what?
The Good Place.
You sound like Cheaty.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I got a decision.
I'll take that.
I have the opposite. I have confidence issue. For me, at this point, it's been so long since I've written anything. I feel so rusty and so old. It's hard. Well, I feel like it's. I know it's kind of like riding a bike, where once you start, it's sort of you remember how to do it, but it's like, I don't know. It's hard to actually just start and get it going and actually committing to do it. So mine is I'm having commitment issues.
Well, it has been.
It's been the last time I wrote anything was like 8 years ago. So yeah,
It's been a while.
It's been a long time. I feel very rusty, and it's a combination of feeling ready and not at the same time. So we're listening to that. It's just like, okay, again, nobody has any pressure on me. I'm not doing this for anybody but myself. And so all those rules that I made up for myself before don't apply. And it's just, it should be it should be fun, but it should also be like this moving experience.
Creative outlet.
Yeah, a creative outlet that should be positive at the very least. I mean, writing makes me cry and makes me swear and everything else too. But at the end of it, I always loved it. So I was trying to find that love again and recommit. And that's where I'm having a hard time. Is that because time I have lots of commitment. Apparently, I have none of. There lies the trick. And also, even talking to writers, it's hard because when I asked Scott Meyer, when we talked to him, which he's a great guy, super funny.
Oh, yeah.
I keep hearing over and over again, you got to write every day, even if it's terrible. And I have a hard time with that because if I don't feel like writing, I just can't do it. Like I literally can't. I'll write 3 sentences and I'm like, that's it. I have to go do something else and I can't do it. And so I'll probably ask Dennis E. Taylor, talk to him.
His tips for
His tips too, but that's what I keep hearing over and over again. It's like, yeah, but what if you can't? What if you can't write
What
every
if the
day?
juices just aren't flowing that
What
day?
if they're not, and
you
all
know.
you write is like, I can't write, and then that's the end of it for the day? Does that does that count?
I was thinking instead of typing something out, it might be fun for you to actually write out something.
Yeah.
Because
I thought you were going to say draw.
No. I don't need to see people. It's okay. Yeah, it would be. It'd be a sea of stick people just kind of doing stuff, and then I'm sure. So yeah, no.
It looked like a weird Where's Waldo book, but like really weird.
Most of the people, they all look the exact
They
same.
all look the exact same, except I know who all the different people are.
Yes, some have curly hair.
Yeah.
One's wearing a hat.
There you go. He's hat guy.
Yeah.
He has a different personality.
Yeah. So it's a big thing, and then it's deciding, like you also, it's deciding what do I write about, like what I have ideas for lots of different things. Which one do I go with? Which one do I know? How do I know which one to pick? You know, is it like a roll of the dice and you just leave it up to fate or chance or whatever and just do it that way? Or
which we did see a game today for sale in Walmart, and it actually reminded me very much of this book.
Really?
And it was it was a roll of the dice, and each side of the die had a different picture of something.
Oh, that one. Yeah.
And then you had to create a story based on the dice that came up. So if you saw like the aliens and then the world and then the slime, you're like, okay, well the aliens came to Earth and then blah blah blah, and then that's when they slimed, and so you'd have to come up with some story based on how the dice all rolled. I thought that was kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's a little bit like some of the games that we played where we were rolling a dice and coming up with it. So
I actually thought about grabbing it just for the show.
Yeah.
And be all right, here's your 6 items that you can create a story around or something. So that'd be kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Well, does anyone have anything else they want to add to the book?
Go ahead.
Well, I'm trying to collect my words.
If you're a creative person,
Yeah.
you'll get something out of this book.
Mm-hmm.
If you're one of those people that really enjoy creating things, whether it be art, writing, you name it, doesn't really matter, you're going to get something out of this book. Unless you don't like very upbeat people.
Don't listen to it. Just read it. Listen. That.
She did write it the way she would talk, is apparently, so be aware of that.
Mm-hmm.
But it would be a little less obnoxious to read it than listen.
Sorry, Felicia Day.
Sorry if you are listening. You're adorable. I'd love to meet you in person.
You had a hard time with the voice.
I met her in person. She's really nice.
Of course.
Have you met her?
Yes, I actually got her last book signed.
Oh, nice.
Oh!
Yeah.
She seems like a sweetheart, and I felt bad, but I did have to pause at one point and be like, Sean can't listen to this because it's way too upbeat. Sai wouldn't be able to do it.
No, also not. She's way too peppy.
And y'all know me, like I'm not normally a super peppy guy, but I was perfectly fine with. I'm like, I had to laugh from time to time whenever she goes off, especially when she goes off on a tangent on something, and
which I enjoyed. And it took me a little bit to get into the book because I wasn't. We've been listening to all these science fiction audiobooks, right? So I have this tone in my head of how books are supposed to be read, and then to go to this was a very shocking.
She's no Ray Porter.
No, not Ray Porter.
That's okay. I did enjoy it overall, and I think if you're a creative person, go through the book, go through the different things. I think you'll definitely get something out of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. She says a thing at the beginning about high-waisted pants that I inherently and ardently disagree about. She hates them. I think they're fantastic, especially after you've had a baby. You need high-waisted pants because they hide them. So I will fight her on that.
High-waisted pants.
That's fine. High-waisted pants forever. And another thing that she brought up about her mom or something. She didn't tell her mom that she was pregnant until she was 8.5 months pregnant. I'm like, did you never ever see your mom?
Probably not. She probably like Skyped her all the time, and it was like from here up.
It fills out a little bit.
Not when you were second time you were pregnant. Yours didn't.
Actually, she posted pictures during the time when she was pregnant, and her face didn't fill out a lot. So, yeah, you should go through her Twitter feed. It was interesting. It was like posting a bunch of other stuff that she didn't like. It was like, well, but she also wasn't posting anywhere near as much as she used to. It was like, well, what happened to Felicia Day? Where'd she go? Oh, that's where she went.
Had a baby,
yeah.
Which I think she'd be the coolest mom on the planet.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, but it's anybody, even if you're not creative, even if you just want to read something to spark something in you, you're feeling like you're in a rut or anything like that, just something different to get your mojo going. Yeah, to think outside the box, to get you out of your headspace. It's nice for that too. If you don't like self-help books or anything like this, then maybe not. But if you do, it's nice. I liked it. I enjoyed it. It's nothing like I've read before. And she seems nice, and I liked her, and you could tell she just wanted good. She just wanted good things to happen, which was very nice. And you believed her that she just wanted you to have a really great experience.
Which I fully support.
Yes.
Come on, Star Trek world.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, I agree with y'all. Like, if you're a creative person, you'll definitely get something out of this book. If you're not a creative person, I don't know. It may spark something in you. It may, there may be that thing that you've always kind of thought about doing that you just never have gotten around, and you may be like, you know what? Maybe I should give it a shot. So.
It's the worst that can happen.
Yeah.
If you've ever, sorry, and I don't mean to cut you off, but if you've never done anything creative and you kind of want to try it, this would be a great way to start trying something.
Oh yes, absolutely. Yeah, because some of the things that she has you doing, just these little exercises, are some of them are just out and out silly. It's just like write for 10 minutes about a dinosaur in your house or whatever, and just go. And it's like, okay. And it's one of those things that's like, you've got a jumping off point. It does, it's supposed to be silly. And there are things in there she specifically says, the sillier, the crazier, the better. Just like, so yeah, I think it's a really good, if you're stuck or if you're having a hard time getting started, you're going to get a lot out of this book. But some of the ideas are nice to have in your back pocket, even if you are still going. It's one of those things that's like, if I do get stuck, it may be one of those things that's like, let me just go try one of these and just see if it'll help me out and to keep going.
And the cool thing is that you can adjust the scenario, right? So maybe you're writing a book about something, and instead of, okay, well, this is a scenario, I'm just going to write for 10 minutes about this scenario, right? And as crazy as, okay, a meteor hits the Earth, what happens? Oh, shit, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Very good. Well, have y'all been reading anything else?
So we are, I'm rereading, but we are going through the Bobiverse.
We're on the third book.
Third book.
Yeah.
We listened to the second one all over again, and then we're on to the third one. I'm on it for like the 5th time or 6th time.
Yeah, same here.
So listening to those ones, getting ready, because I really enjoy those books. They're a lot of fun to listen to. And then somebody at work actually suggested a series that I have to go and ask her what they are again, because I was suggesting to her a couple of different ones, and so so I gotta remember what they are.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently they're pretty heavy though, because she's used to heavier books. So I said, well, if you want something light and fun, the Bobiverse and the other ones. So
real quick side note on that, Dennis E. Taylor tweeted the other day that apparently
he froze up.
Sorry, he tweeted. That's all we.
I'm sorry. Dennis E. Taylor tweeted that he has sent the new Bobiverse books are going to be following Bender.
Yeah.
And he's got that sent out to, I think he said his copy editor. So the gears are moving on those. So. I was
That's
kind of
all.
wondering where he was going to go in that
Mhm.
universe.
Kind of thought that Bender never got found, and so when we were listening to it, it
It
was
was the
like
second book. Yeah.
it's the second book. You're like, yeah, they
Where's
went
Bender?
looking for Bender and they never found him. So very curious as to where that goes.
Mhm.
Yes, I am too, and it kind of seems like a natural jumping off point,
Yeah.
for the
Oh,
next
yeah.
book. So
Yeah.
Chris, have you been reading anything else?
Yes, I'm still reading my mom porn. It's an 800-page book, so it takes some time to get through it. I'm almost at the end. I think I only have like 30, 40 pages left. It's by Sherilyn Kenyon. She's very good. It's all the same stuff. It's a formula, and you can tell after about the third book that it's just a fill in the blank sort of scenario, but I can't help it. I love it. It all intact, so that's why I like to read it. So I'm almost in that, and that's the newest one of that. She's got like 4 different series, so she's got to have ghostwriters to be pumping out this amount of stuff. She's got
Or it's like you said, and she's got the formula, and she's just.
Of course, if she's got a formula, yeah, you're right. She may just be able to do it. What's funny is there's a writer I've listened to a lot of his, he's on several different podcasts, and he was talking about at the very end of there's that movement for November to like write an entire book. And he literally was down to just a few days and was like, well, there's no way I can put out an 8,000 whatever, 800-page book, whatever. And he's like, well, he figured out his typing speed. He's like, it can't be done. And then he was like, well, he started looking into some of these voice to text things, and within like a weekend, he wrote an entire book. He said it's not a good book. Now, he's also a published writer. He's got several books that are on the bestseller list and stuff. So he's a pretty good judge of his own stuff. He's like, it's not a good book. He's like, but I did it. And it's like, it's one of those things I'm thinking, I don't know if I'll do my next book that way, but this whole idea that, a book takes this certain amount of time, he's like, this kind of really kind of eats into that. He's like, maybe there's a happy medium. So
it's hard too, because I tried doing that. It's 1,000 words a day for 30 days. And by the end of it, you have a 3,000 word manuscript. And I tried. And after about the 5th day, I skipped a day, and it just went to crap after that. I couldn't do it. It's hard. Yeah. To do that.
Yeah. That's like, Iron Man competition for writers. Yeah.
You have to be like, I think you already have to have a flow or hit the flow somewhere in it to, 1,000 words a day doesn't sound like much
to get up to it.
But if you
you probably also need a really good outline too, ahead of time to know where you're going or whatever. So
yeah, I am not a pantser. I can't just go off the top of my head. I have to actually plot it out.
Yeah, same.
Yeah,
what little writing I've done, I had to plan out.
Yeah.
So.
The blank page is one of the hardest things to fill. So.
Yep.
Oh, how profound.
No, right? If we were a profound podcast, that would have to be at a shirt. So instead, we have like, I still want to do the eye moose with the beaver holding the flag, or the maple leaf Canada. So that's where we're at. So yeah, I finished this book. I actually went back and reread her previous book. I reread a couple of other books. I still think we need to read Every Tool's a Hammer. It's also a really good book about inspiration and stuff. But the new book that I just read was Paddle Your Own Canoe. It's by Nick Offerman.
Yeah. Is it good?
It's interesting. He's definitely not. He's not Ron Swanson.
No.
He loves Ron Swanson. He loves the character of Ron Swanson. But he's not Ron Swanson. He does have some very Ron Swanson type ideas, but he's like, everyone looks to me and they're like, oh, you're this, how do you become like a manlier man? He goes, I'm an actor. That's like the least manly thing you can do. Except whenever he's actually in his actual wood shop making furniture. And then I'm like, no, that's pretty freaking manly, dude. I didn't realize his wife is like 11 years older than he is.
Yeah, Megan Mullally.
Yeah.
For a really long time too.
Yeah, and they both, it's not just the shows, or her in particular. It's not just the show. She apparently has one of the filthiest mouths you could ever imagine, and that's one of the reasons why he loves her. Which I understand. That's awesome.
Yeah, no, she's got a trash mouth.
Oh yeah.
And she's very, very honest.
Oh yeah, and he is too. Like I could definitely tell they would be the couple that would be like, you're full of shit. Just flat out tell you that, so. Yeah. Yeah, so that's one of the other things that I've been reading. So, and so like Ray said, he's been rereading the Bobiverse books. That is our plan for December. We're going to reread. Well, most of us have read the rest of the Bobiverse books. I don't think Jennifer's read them yet. Hopefully she can get at least one of them done. But our next book is actually going to be the next 2 books with Christmas break. Hopefully that'll give people a lot of time to catch up if you haven't read them yet, because in January we're going to be interviewing Dennis E. Taylor, the author of the Bobiverse books.
Woo!
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. So I've been thinking about it. I'm like, man, maybe we should go back and see if we can talk with some of these other writers that we've already done their books on. Like, so
why not?
Yeah, that may be on my to-do list. So
other to-do list.
Yep. All right, where can we find you online, Ray?
The Reluctant Yeti on Instagram. If you go to Epically Geeky website, you'll also find a link to the Etsy shop, the Etsy shop for the Reluctant Yeti. I've got a couple skateboards up and talking about creative stuff. There is more coming. I just haven't had time. Life keeps getting in the way as usual. So, but there is more that will be coming up, and I did have a sale there, which is awesome.
That is awesome.
And yeah, it was pretty cool that occurred. So, other than that, yeah, Instagram is the best place. Sometimes I post about hockey on Twitter, so you might see some stuff on there. Other than that, I'm not really anywhere else. Other than here, Epically Geeky, all the fun things that we do there.
Yep. What about you, Chris?
You can find me here at Marginally Geeky on Sustainably Geeky, and I wasn't on last night, but Jen did do a show last night, so that should be out in the next little while on Epically Geeky, and I can't with social media just yet. I'm still on the outside looking in. One day I'll come back.
That's all good.
Just not yet.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I forgot to also throw a plug in for procrastinators, because we've been procrastinating so well.
Yes, we've been actually doing a really good job of that.
But Sean will be able to join us with that one too. He was able to play with my original Nintendo.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah.
Good deal. I forgot to show the throw stuff. Forgot to throw out the stuff about the show. Can't talk. All of a sudden. As always, you can find us at epicallygeeky.com. You can find all of the shows, the feeds on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play. As of right now, we will still be on YouTube, depending on how things go January 1st. We're going to have to kind of evaluate some things. This whole COPA filing, depending on how well YouTube handles this situation, will depend whether or not we stay on there. I mean, our shows are clearly not for kids. I mean, we're pretty much just talking heads, but still, if there's even the remote chance of us getting hit with a fine, then yeah, well, I have a feeling quite a few big changes are coming here in the near future. So. And then as for me, you can find me at Optimachine on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. For everyone on the site, have a good night.